How are we all going this morning? It's Colin Embry again. All my friends out there in the out there in the world, the people that are following me. I've just woken up, so I'm still a little bit sleepy. But today, my subject's going to be confidence and how you can sort of build on it. Years and years ago, it would have been about 2004, so about 10 years ago, I actually went and seen a specialist. Basically, he didn't hypnotise me, but he worked on my mind, what I was going through with the difficulties, and I got professional advice. So I would always advise using professionals whenever you can, because some of the things that you're going through are so simple to fix. For example, when I start a game sometimes, you're a little bit nervous, so people that have seen me play, you'll see I might be playing a little bit slow. All that is entailing is I just go to your happy place, a place where you're in your memory bank, where you actually had success, or how you felt at the time, and you just slow down and tap into that. Don't tap into a unconfident part where you might be playing, say, Simon Whitlock for argument's sake, and you know he's got a reputation, so then you start playing him and not playing the board. So the way I got around that is I just zoned out of who I was playing and went to a place where I might have had success in the past. I won't mention names, but there's some named players that you could have beat. Just use them as example, how you felt at the time when you beat them, and go back to that confident period of your life and just keep tapping back into that. Every time you start doubting yourself, just go back to that space and get your confidence back. And that was one of the techniques that the professionals taught me. That's what worked for me. And yeah, it can work for you as well. Also, it's very important to have a routine. I used to have everything down packed. Used to throw the darts the same and everything, and then at home I actually taught myself to walk a certain way from the dartboard, always walk the same way. So it's just routine. So you pull the darts out of the board and say walk to the left, and then you'll walk back to a spot behind the hockey line and wait for your shot. I used to look down and watch their feet, so as they walked off, I never used to really walk to the hockey line until their feet were starting to walk back from the board, and that gave me sort of a rhythm, routine and confidence, because then I was worried about me and not worried about them. So they're just little things you do automatically in the background which builds on confidence, because your rhythm doesn't start until you hit till it's your throw. A lot of people think it's the rhythms all the time. It's not. You actually don't. You teach yourself not to switch on until your foot hits the hockey line and you're ready to throw. Then you switch on. You're not switched on the whole time. You've got to switch off in between shots. Otherwise, it's just too draining. And that was another technique the professional also taught me. I read books. Think and Grow Rich is one of the books I read. And there's quite a few books I read, and I don't know where I got it, but there was a brain switch technique. I don't know where you've had days where you couldn't, you're hitting fives or ones, and I had a brain switch technique where I just had, I used to go into the toilet and I'd keep my head perfectly still, and then I'd look up to the right till my eyes hurt, down to the left. When you do it, you count to 4, so you go 1, 2, 3, 4, then down, 1, 2, 3, 4, then up the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then down. Do that twice, and you keep your head perfectly still, but all you do is you move your eyes. What that's doing is switching your left side of your brain and your right side of the brain on, and after you do it, you know, if you weren't, your left and your right side weren't in sync, was used to sort of like get a little. I used to get a little cloudy feeling, and I don't know how many times I've done that, and I've walked out and either did 180 or had a really, really, really good game. Yeah, I used to originally think I was standing in the wrong spot, but I wasn't. It was just that my brain wasn't focused and switched on, because, you know, people don't think it's true, but it is. You've got a left side and a right side of your brain, and yeah, it all works together. And another little technique I had for concentration is I got a piece of paper, and I also read this as well, so books are very good for getting knowledge, is get a white piece of paper and put a black dot in the middle. And what I used to do, I used to have it on the toilet wall, so when I went to the toilet, on the back of the toilet door, then you just focus on it, don't blink. Your eyes will water, and then just time yourself. And then every day do more and more and more, and before you know it, your concentration, or your focus basically, will be really, really good. You'll be able to really zone in on the doubles and the triples without any troubles at all, because a lot of people have trouble focusing, you know, their mind wanders. But just from that one technique, you know, and then you can also do it around people, so it teaches you to focus on a target when there's other people around. Do it when your family and your kids are around. You don't have to be at darts to do it, and then you can practice it at darts. Just zone in on that dot and don't let anything else break your concentration, and that will help you in the big matches. Or that's what helped me anyway. So I listen to motivation tapes, people that are positive. There's plenty of them out there. You just got to look around for them. Like Jim Rohn, for argument's sake, he's a very good motivational speaker. Yeah, just have a look on the web for salespeople. Salespeople are the ones that are really good with motivations. They might be talking sales, but you just turn it around to apply it to darts, because it's exactly the same. Doesn't matter what it is in life, you can apply anything to anything. The principle will be good in darts, it'll also be good in business, and it'll also be good in family life. So you just got to, yeah, apply them. Also, I always tried to never show anyone how I was feeling on the inside, on the outside. So if you have a bad shot, I always tried to make sure I didn't drop my shoulders, I didn't drag my feet and just dawdle to the board, because that shows that you're not confident, you know. And the good players will jump on that, and they'll know that you're not confident, and that's when they just step up a gear and away they go. And you will learn the same thing as you go on. You'll learn how to read people from behind. That's why it's very good just to wander around the dart hall and just watch players. Just watch their whole game, when they're playing well and when they're playing not, and just watch their body language. And get someone to watch you or film you, because you will probably be doing the same thing. And the confidence comes from the inside out, not from the outside in. But you can actually see it from behind. Some of the good tournament directors, they can tell you from watching you whether you're going to win or not, because they're very good at reading confidence. So yeah, use the tournament directors. You know, talk to them. You know, because they can see it, because they've been doing it for so long. Also, even when you're practicing, don't get into bad habits of just throwing your dart and walking, because that creates a bad habit, which then will affect your confidence. So always try and keep yourself, like, every dart counts, which it does, and every dart's important. Don't mistreat any dart. You've got one dart in your hand, make it count. Don't just throw it, you know, because you think you're going to get beat or whatever. Just never give up. If you never give up, your opponent never knows they've got you beat, which also gives you confidence, because it affects them if you never give up. But if you give up, well, they don't have to do anything and they'll win, because you'll basically beat before you even get to the board. Like I say, hang around with better motivated people, the really good players. You know, just feed off them. A lot of them, they don't mind. Some do, but you know, you'll get to know. Don't bug them, but just hang around them. You don't have to sit there and talk to them. You can just watch them and study them, and you will learn that they've all got good habits and they've got good things they do that you don't realise until you sit down and watch them. And practice with better players, people that are better than you, because that will improve you, and it's also a good gauge on how you're going. So if you start beating the good players, there's no need to be, if you beat them, brag about or anything like that, because that's self-defeating. Because then other people, when they play you, they'll do the same thing. They'll brag about it and they'll put you down, and they won't like you, and then you won't be enjoying your game. So try not to brag. Always say you have your good days and your bad days. Don't go in and say you're throwing brilliant, because then it puts pressure on you. Then you've got to perform. Some people perform like that, but that wasn't me. So, and also it's very important to score, because scoring gives you confidence, because you learn new ways. Some people just think, it's scoring, I don't want to score. But people, in my view, people that don't like scoring lack confidence, because they think when they lose that it's showing that they're a loser. It's not showing that they're a loser. It's just part and parcel of the game, scoring. You'll see people, they'll lose and they'll just bolt out of the hall and go home, because they don't want people to know that they lost. So in their head, they're thinking that if I'm up there scoring, deep down, well then I'm a loser. Well, you're not. It's got nothing to do with it. Scoring's just part of the game. Just do it. You'll learn new ways to pegs, because pegging's not about just hitting the double. It's setting up. If you ever watch someone that's playing pool, they always seem to be 2 or 3 shots ahead. Well, you got to do the same thing in darts. Like Simon taught me years ago that basically from your first shot, there's certain scores you don't throw, because you can't have your 12 dart games, because it's from the first shot. Like throwing a ton and leaving 169 instead of throwing 99. Little simple things like that. Set up for your next shot, because you just never know. You leave a peg, you can get it, but if you don't leave a peg, well, you might rue that, because that would be the chance that you had to win the game, and because you didn't plan ahead, you won't get a shot at the double. You'll leave a double, whereas if you think ahead, you might only get 1 dart at the double. That's all you need, and you just got to make it count. And if you're on a peg, it actually gets in the other player's head as well, because they know that if they're watching you, well, he's on a double, I've got to get this. Whereas if you haven't got a peg left, where your last dart you can't shoot at a double, well then they know they've got 6 darts to go out instead of they've got to go out this shot. So just little things like that. So that's how you build on confidence. Well, that's how I build on confidence. I don't know how other players do it, but over the next probably 5 years, I will interview a lot of the good players that want to be interviewed, that want to give back to darts, and just how they build on confidence. Because there is a lot of good players out there. My way's not the only way, and I'm not saying it is the only way. I'm just sharing with you the way that I did it and the way that worked for me. And you just got to find a way that works for you and just go with it. So, okay then, well that's my subject on confidence today. And tomorrow, subject is going to be fitness. So, how I worked on being fit and being mentally strong from my first start to my last start. Because when you're playing off for those tougher sides to get in, like Queensland, you've got to be mentally and physically fit. So, okay then, until then, I'll keep tuned, because there's more to come. Okay then, bye.